I just started recording. So, if you are listening to this from here with a recording, my dumbass forgot to hit record. I'm terribly sorry. Go over to Facebook, look for hashtag live with the shaman, all one word. Hashtag live with the shaman. You can watch the video from the beginning if you're one of those that only likes to watch it on Facebook. My apologies, I just now hit record. We're halfway through the broadcast. Stop right now, go over to Facebook and watch it from the beginning on through. My apologies. Onward and upward, right? We start our training in the astral. Be realistic. When you're starting your training in the astral battlefield, be realistic. Start small. Don't jump out like you've got a big chip on your shoulder. Don't jump out there like you got something to prove. Start small. Listen to what they have to teach you. I think you'll be amazed at what you'll learn through the astral battlefield. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier, Dave. The older I get, the thinner my filter gets. But if you take your thin filter and your smart ass into the astral battlefield and seek the training of a master, you will learn you don't necessarily actually need a filter. All you need to do is remember respect. Speak with respect, and you will be treated with respect. Disrespect, pick your ass up off the ground a couple of 3 or 4 times, and you won't do that. So, we've listened to the masters, we've gone through training. There is no time span for training. Once you start going, it's a continuous, ongoing training method. I don't go as often now as I used to or as I should. Unfortunately, I'm looking into other things in the astral, other avenues and things that I need to achieve and I need to accomplish. But those of you that may be coming into this later in life, age is not that important. I say that again. Age is not that important. If you're just now getting into it in your 50s and 60s, that's fine. You're going to wake up a little sore. You're going to, you may wake up with some bumps and bruises, which I'm going to cover here in just a minute. But let's go to the next step. Okay? You've made it through basics. Now you've entered intermediate. Intermediate is where you can actually start using your astral alternatives. For me, it was Chinook, the red-headed Scotsman. So I went in as Chinook, and Master showed Chinook real damn quick just exactly what the old Highlander didn't know, because everything he believed in was crossbow and broadsword. Okay, well, you can't shoot a spirit with a crossbow, you're kind of screwed. And a sword really is useless when it comes to a spirit because you can't hurt a spirit with a sword. Common sense, right? But Master decided to pick up a broadsword and we sparred a bit. Every time he went to hit me, he did turn his sword to the side because he wanted to make goddamn sure I would feel it the next morning. And if you've ever been slapped upside the leg, across the back or the arm, or across this part of your arm because you're taught to block, right? Well, you get smacked sideways right there with a broadsword by a spirit. I promise you it won't be a pain you will soon forget. Next step, and just so that you know, from anger management or teaching you to stand up for yourself. Okay? Let's say you're one of those like I was when I was a young teenager that I just wouldn't fight. I wouldn't. I don't know why. I just wouldn't fight. Well, when I turned 16, something snapped like a twig, and I fought everything and everyone in sight. The problem is, once I started, I didn't know when to quit. Right. So, if you're one of those in your introductory stage, you may well be taught when to fight, how to fight. Also, in your introductory stage, you'll be taught when not to fight and how to de-escalate. So that's a part of your basic introductory, generally training in the astral. Intermediate, like I said, you go in with your different astral selves. I went in with Chinook. I went in with Pegasus. Pegasus was fun. Um, I was never allowed to go airborne because I'm still intermediate, right? Everything I'm doing is land based on the ground. No water, no air. Now, water based creatures in the astral, I don't know how they do it, never paid any attention. Everything and everyone I ever saw on the astral battlefield was practicing on the land at first. Intermediate, you get a little bit further advanced from basic. You learn to fight well with all three or however many astral selves that you have. I have three: Self, Chinook, and Pegasus. However many you got, that's up to you. But I learned to switch, to flip back and forth. Because there's time when you need the human. We're smaller. Okay? Compared to a big ass 6 foot six wiry ass uh, redheaded Scotsman who thinks he's a brick wall, and a very large gray winged horse that, of course, we all know horses know that they're tall and relatively unstoppable. But horses are very stoppable, so are Pegasus, right? So I went through my intermediate training, and I've been in advanced training now probably 10, 12 years, maybe. Advanced training is where you do the aerial stuff, you do the water stuff. You essentially, in advanced training, you do whatever the hell they throw at you. Anywhere from rapid fire machine gun to musket fire, bows and arrows, crossbows, swords, scabbards, pocket knives, whatever you do, whatever you're going to do, wherever you think you want to go in your advanced training in the battlefield of the astral, happens, like I said, in the advanced training. Now, I may be going through this a little quick. We've only got an hour. My ass get up 4:30 in the morning and go to work. Right. Now, like it says, bumps and bruises. Bumps and bruises in the morning. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Do not be surprised if you wake up with actual physical bruises the next morning, or if you wake up extremely sore, slow, and hard to move. Now, if you're one that already has stiff and sore and hard to move in the morning, and if you have medical issues, I don't recommend you go to your doctor and say, "Hey, doc, I've taken on astral battlefield. What do you think about that?" Because your doctor is going to look at you and go, "What? Astral what? Battle what? No, you can't battle nothing." Never mind, doc. Do what you got to do. just remember that you are going to feel it the next morning. Now, I will tell you some things that I noticed many, many years ago, obviously. Ladies and gentlemen, I am sitting here talking to you not from beyond the grave, but from this plane. I've died several times on the astral battlefield. I have died multiple times in astral wars and astral real battles that I've had to go into and fight for whatever reason or another. I'm not even going to get into those because that could take hours to talk about. What this is an introduction, ABCs, this is the way this works, this is what can happen, and this is the way you do that. Where you go with it, how how strong your honor is up to you. So you can wake up with bumps and bruises, and um, I have broken my arm in the astral, and I've not had any signs of broken bones on this plane. I got this broke in the oil field in 1982. The interesting part, what's really, really cool, I don't have that in the astral. Even as Don, I don't have that. That was one of the first things I noticed. I thought it was really cool. My little finger was there and worked perfectly in the astral. But I've had broken bones in the astral. I've had broken noses. I've been stabbed, shot, bowed and arrowed, crossbowed, had my throat slit. I did wake up the next morning with that a little hard to talk, and my throat did hurt. It wasn't red, there were no marks, but the throat did hurt, and it was a little hard to talk. So don't be surprised. Um, I've never. Well, this is going to sound like an extremely stupid ass statement, but I've never known anybody to die in the astral and die on this plane. Of course, some smartass is going to type in the window, well, if they died in the astral, how would you know it? Did they come back and tell you they died in the astral? I'm waiting on it. Somebody's going to say it. Clint says, wake up from deep sleep in a cold sweat. That I've never done unless I was sick. I've never woken up from a deep sleep in a cold sweat unless I was sick. Um, you can tell Dave has no filter. He said if one does not have the intelligence to figure out what they put us through, tough shit. Right there with you, brother. But, this is introduction to Astral. I want these guys to know whether you're woman, man, training. That's one of the things about Astral. They give a shit if you're a trainee, gay, straight, bisexual. They give a shit less. They're going to treat you as an equal on the battlefield. Um, if you jump out there and you think you're Billy Joe or Billy Jane badass, you go right ahead. I'd like to, like I say, I'd like to get beer and popcorn and sit back and watch that one. And I quit drinking in '82. Didn't like beer anyway. All right, so we are a quarter to the hour. Let's um, let's kind of wind it back a little bit and let's talk about some more serious things. As you're getting used to battling in the astral, understand, like I said, you're liable, not always, but a lot. come home, wake up, come back from the astral, whatever you want to call it, bumps, bruises, sore joints, shit hurting, feel like you just got the shit beat out of you and you very highly possibly did, right? Respect. I will say that until you people are purple. Respect. Respect your masters. Bow to them. Shake their hand. Do whatever it is that they do. When you are done with your training, I always, this is me. This is a me thing. This is a Don thing. Just because of my martial arts training on this plane, I always bowed to master, never breaking eye contact. Bowed to master and said, "Thank you for the lesson. It was well absorbed." And I would listen to anything else, any other information they had to say. Generally, there was no walking off of the battlefield for me. It was just, "Thank you for the lesson, master. It was well absorbed." Poof, I'm out of there. And my ass is thumped back and waking up in bed because goddamn alarm's going off. I gotta go to work. What's left of me has to go to work. So, the astral battlefield is really kind of a cool place. Like I say, once you've made it past basics, right? Once you've gone through your basic training, whatever it is, then you can request things like mountain training. You can request things once you get into your advanced training. You can request aqua training, which, if you don't know what aqua is, it's water. You can request aerial training. You can request mole training, which is under the ground, also known as the underworld. Okay. Um, I didn't start underworld training until about 5 years ago. Wasn't comfortable with it then, not real comfortable with it now. Just because I'm not. And I will tell you this, a lot of people conjure up the Christian hocus pocus of the underworld of being hellfire and brimstones. It's hell and it's hot and there's fire and people are burning in hell. No, the underworld is not hell, right? Everything is gray, it's devoid of any color. There are demons that hang out down there. Some of them are rather cool. I've met some pretty kick-ass, cool-ass demons. Had some good conversation with them. So, when I say underworld, I am not talking about the Christian ideology, philosophy of hell. No, it's their hell. I'll let them burn in it. Did I say it out loud? I said that out loud. Sorry about that. No, I'm not. Anyway, so any questions, folk? Seriously, any questions that you might have on the astral battlefield? Do put them in the chat here. If you're watching on YouTube, send me a message. If you want to send me a PM here, by all means, feel free. Go right ahead. I would prefer that you put your questions in here so that everybody else can, check them out. Dave says lower angelic realm. Okay. I always just called it the underworld. Never quite saw the demons as angelic, but then again, I don't follow angels, so there you go. Again, a reminder, right? We hope to see you next week for the Chapter 7. What will Chapter 7 be? The Meeting Hall of Council. Okay, here's where I'm probably going to take a lot of slack. This is the Chapter 7 is the Great Hall, the Meeting Hall of the Great Council. I'll be talking about my council, their layout, how they work, right? And I'll be talking about the meeting hall, the Great Hall, where I go to meet my council. How you meet yours is up to you, right? Those of you that just starting, If you want to request a spirit guide, hey, I heard of a great meeting hall where shaman can meet their council. Do I have a council? And if you have a council, you'll start meeting your council. If you don't, spirit guide may tell you, you know, you don't have a council. Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Who teaches me? Spirit guide. Okay, well enough. I do recommend till you're a little bit further up there and a little bit higher trained that you don't just right off the top of your head go, I want to meet Great Spirit, God and Goddess. I am a shaman. I want to sit down with Great Spirit, God and Goddess. I will be talking about that as well in Chapter 7. Right. Well, thank you again for watching Live with the Shaman. I do hope everybody has a really good week. I know that my weeks are fixing to get really, really busy. So if you reach out to me on the weekend and you don't get me, hang in there. I'll reply as soon as I can. Thanks again for watching another broadcast of Live with the Shaman. We'll see you next time.